A few weeks ago, I was reading an article about this new British TV series called Say Nothing. It got terrific reviews. It's not in the US yet, as far as I can tell. So what I decided to do is to pick up the book that it's based on. And I am really happy that I did. The book is Say Nothing. It's by a man named Keefe, and really a good book. Now, what the book does is to tell the story of the Troubles from as way back as the 1940s up to almost the present day. The book was written in 2016. It tells the story mostly from the IRA, the Provisional IRA, and the Sinn Féin point of view. It has very little in there about the Loyalists, about the Loyalist paramilitary groups, and so on. So you'd have to say that this is really not a comprehensive history of the Troubles. It's pretty much focused on that one side. Now, the book is anchored really on three women who were involved in this. One was a woman named Jean McConville. She was a 38-year-old mother of 10 who was living alone. She, with her 10 kids, she was abducted and murdered, and it's her murder and the subsequent investigation into it that forms really the spine or the backbone of this book. The other two women are a pair of sisters, Dolores and Marion Price. The Price sisters were members of the Provisional IRA. They were very highly motivated terrorists and so on. And they kind of provide a counterpoint in this thing. And they're also a vehicle for introducing a number of very interesting characters. You take Jerry Adams, Brendan Hughes, a guy who was pretty much the leader of the Provisional IRA. And there are a lot of other interesting characters that come up along the way in this book. So it's easy to see how this would make a terrific TV series. A lot of good characters to act in. I found the most absorbing parts of the book about hunger strikes, for one thing. The first hunger strike is one I had never heard of, and that was one with the two Price sisters, Dolores and Marion, went on a hunger strike in an English prison. What had happened was they had gone to London and engineered a bombing. They were captured, tried, convicted, put in this English jail, and they were lobbying to get back to a jail in Northern Ireland, to wear their own clothes and things like that. So they went on a really serious extended hunger strike. The other hunger strike that, like I say, is absorbing, was the one in Long Kesh, which involved Bobby Sands, and what I didn't realize was a bunch of other guys who also launched hunger strikes at kind of staggered intervals after Bobby Sands started it. The other very interesting part of the book was a project that was run at Boston College. And what the project was to create a kind of an oral archive of the participants in the Troubles. And that ends up being a source for this book, and also an important source for the investigation into Jean McConville. Now, I know a lot of people out there really don't like lawyers at all, but I'll tell you what, had either Boston College or the guys working on this archive in Ireland, had they checked with lawyers, they would have saved themselves an awful lot of trouble. They didn't, and the issues weren't all that complicated. But it's I think, a great story. Now, I got to say, with this book, it's very well written. It absolutely never, ever bogs down. I found myself continually turning the pages on this thing. I've got to say, this is not something that is, to my mind, was focused solely on a Catholic versus Protestant thing. And that's certainly in there. But I had the impression that questions involving political representation, political voting rights, job opportunities, things like that, played a more important role in the troubles than just religious differences. Anyway, that was the impression I had. I thought this was a terrific book. I'm very happy to recommend it. You might want to give it a try. See you next week.